The comments that have come from AC Milan chairman Paolo Scaroni about Serie A. He's saying, well, it's become a Serie B in comparison with other top European leagues. The product we offer isn't great without the Messis and Mbappes simply because we can't afford them. Football is a sport, but it's also a spectacle. The spectacle needs to be made up a lot of game time and little interruption. In February, Milan Udinese finished with 48 minutes, 38 seconds of actual match time from 97 total minutes. It's boring like this. The referees need to play their part. A spectacle requires a nice stadium. Creating infrastructure in Italy is a serious problem. Don, obviously you cover a lot of the Italian league. Are you surprised you've got the chairman of the team that won the league coming out and saying this?
Very strange comments. I mean, very, very strange. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the Man United Atletico Madrid game, the last half an hour of that game played in something like 7 or 8 minutes or something because of the tactics involving Atletico Madrid and ball boys, etc., and wasting time? I think it's a pointless argument that he's trying to put forward. I mean, I understand it, by the way. I mean, you know, when he's talking Messi and Ronaldo's and you're talking finances, Serie A hasn't got enough money. You know, I think maybe 1 or 2 clubs outside the Premier League, like PSG, etc. I think everyone struggled in COVID times. It certainly happened in Spain. I think in England they could afford to sort of ride it. So you're trying to entice the best players in the world into Serie A. It's difficult. The best players in the world play in La Liga or the Premier League, in my opinion. There's not many players who play in Serie A, you know, who's on more than probably 150, 200 a week, where you go to the Premier League and probably La Liga, and there's probably dozens and dozens and, you know, loads in each club. So I think it's very difficult. But what I would say is last season was incredible. I mean, it went down to the last day of the season who was going to win the league, Inter or AC Milan. And I think the product's good, don't get me wrong. I think it's fantastic. But how do you compete with La Liga and the Premier League without the finances? It's incredibly hard.
The refereeing obviously mentioned there, Don, this kind of stop-start approach doesn't help things. You mentioned United Atleti, but Atleti are an anomaly, really, when you talk about wasting time. It's something that needs to be addressed going forward.
I don't know how, though, Dan, to be honest. I'm not sure what the arguments you can put forward is, unless you've... I mean, I was talking to someone a couple of weeks back, and I find it incredible that only in football, when you think of the top-level sports out there across the world, and everything's by the second, everything's on a clock, and you wonder why, with the money that we've got in the game in football, right across FIFA and UEFA, we haven't then gone away to someone, actually some sort of 5th or 6th official standing there with a stopwatch and actually pinging the stopwatch every time the ball goes out to play. And all right, the game might last 120 minutes or 110 minutes, wherever it might be. But at least you're getting a pure 90 minutes of football where you'd like to think the ball's going to be in play for a larger period of time than, you know, 48 minutes. So I think something can be done. I'm just not sure how many arguments you can put forward apart from that one.
Jules, back to Scaroni's quote, you look at it and you just feel concerned from an Italian point of view. He brings up infrastructure. We've discussed this a lot on the show over the years. You can't quite see how things are going to change.
No, that's true. I mean, I disagree with Don completely. I'm not surprised at all by those comments. This is the debate that's been going on in Italy for a long time, how you make the league more competitive, how you make it better. The game time is the pure example. They're the lowest of the 5 big leagues in terms of game time every week. Not just the game that was mentioned in the quotes. This is a problem. And the infrastructure, you're right. Every time they try and they bid for a big tournament, they never get it. And that's the only way, really the only way, well, one of the only ways to get that infrastructure better is to organize a Euros or a World Cup and get money that way to build new ones or refurbish the old ones that they have, because they're all pretty much old. But look at the clubs who are trying to be a bit more proactive and try to get those new stadiums, whether it's the Milan clubs or the Roman clubs. They're struggling. There's so much red tape and paperwork, and it's so complicated in Italy to get anything done and anything going anywhere. Gab would tell you it goes mad every single time. And it's the same for football clubs, and it's the same for stadiums. Some have tried for 10 years now to get a new brand, modern stadium, and they never, it's not even near getting ready or getting even started. So it's a big problem. But the money is an issue, and that's why they're thinking about getting a private equity company to invest in the league, like the CVC deal in France and like the CVC deal in Spain, which might be part of the solution. But they've got so many issues pretty much everywhere that it will take them a long time to even get closer to the top leagues who are the most attractive and the most competitive.
Whatever you may think of the level of play in Serie A, I think we can argue back and forth, and people will have their positions, and I think the results kind of speak for themselves. I'm going to go to how the league is presented. We're watching Serie A on TV, and we live in a high-definition world nowadays. The way that the league is presented aesthetically looks very much standard definition. The stadiums, dim. The presentation of the games, dim. The play on the field, also dim. So if you're somebody who's a casual fan of the game, and you have the Premier League here, or you have La Liga here, and then you have the option of watching Serie A, you put the two products side by side, there's no question that you're attracted to the bright lights. Whatever you may see from Serie A is simply not exciting and engaging enough to where you'll sit there and watch a game that you don't have a true connection with, which you may do in La Liga and you may do in the Premier League. You're not doing it in Serie A.
I mean, they're not producing any players themselves, which obviously would be the start for me. The money side of it is a no-brainer. You get more money, you bring more players. The thing I would say about on the field, what do you expect your league to look like when your best teams are signing players from the Premier League that are over the hill? Players like Ashley Young. You've got, you can say, okay, they signed Lukaku, but because he couldn't hack it.
Yeah.
You've got Juventus, arguably the biggest team in Italy over the last, 10 years, 9 titles in 10 years, is signing somebody like Aaron Ramsey that nobody else wants. So why is everybody surprised? And why is the guy at the top surprised when the football's not particularly great? Because you're signing players that are past it or just not good enough for the top flight. That's why you're not good.
Last word on this, you, Don.
Well, I'm obviously pro Serie A. I've always been a big fan and always will be because I love watching Italian football, and I find it amazing that, you know, when you teams like Napoli and Inter and Milan playing it ridiculously good old stadiums, but Jules has got a point. When you look at the Premier League and you look at the teams in Spain, the standard of the stadiums are so much better. I think Inter weren't far away under Antonio Conte. If he wasn't forced to leave through financial problems, and I think that's the crux of it, to be honest. There's not enough money washing around in Italian football to build better stadiums, to attract better players. Stevie's got a point. I mean, AC Milan go out and sign Olivier Giroud and Zlatan. Fantastic names, but both at, 38, 39 years of age at the time? So how do they go and try and attract better young players? The whole thing regarding recruitment, more money into every single club from TV deals has to be a lot better. But I'll always stand by Serie A because I love Italian football. So maybe I'm in the minority, but I love it.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.